Parlay Pals this weekend, big event, Bellator, UFC. Question
Rick,
is,
what are we snacking on, man?
yeah. Question is,
rooting for you guys.
why is
What are we snacking on,
yeah.
bro? I keep see you sneak some snacks in.
Oh, nice.
Wow, cheese doodles.
Wow.
Hot and honey. Oh, they're getting blurred out.
Yeah.
Wow.
The beauty of this
There we
was
go.
I felt for a second that we were such an advanced operation that we didn't want to give the sponsor
No
a plug.
no
That
free plug
someone
to
was
cheese doodles.
someone was blurring it in real time. But it was really
Yeah, that
just
was
your
right.
backdrop. Yeah, good job. All right, so no New York Rick because he bottled it last week.
Yeah, it feels like every week, it's us three, then it's Rick's back
Question
in,
his
then it's us three.
Yeah.
My commitment. I mean, I made the pick. I just.
Yeah, but are you the
2023's been tough.
the question is, are you trying to bottle it?
Wow.
That was
I
really-
can neither
yeah.
confirm.
Is he such a
denied.
sharp that he just won it out of the Parlay Pals and he knew Alexa Grasso was going to win, so he took Valentina Shevchenko? Love it.
I could be independently wealthy right now and have done it on purpose.
Independently wealthy.
All right, what do we
I
got?
didn't even do any work. All right, let's randomize the order. Back to 3. Nice and clean.
Oh,
Wow. Frank first,
Oh, man.
Ariel second. I will bring up the rear.
Frankie first.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go with the main event and pick you on Moneyline.
Wow.
No,
Frank, can you give me a
no
little
build
time?
up, no
Jeez.
sell. I mean,
Like,
that
who
was
is
just-
Jan? Is it Jan Bohovic? Who is it?
Peter
I
Yan.
mean,
Piotr Jan.
See, I knew I was going to mispronounce it. You exposed that. Thanks.
That's it? That's all you're giving us?
yeah, he walks over to my desk today. He's like, "How do you feel about Peter?"
I did not say
like,
Peter.
who?
I say Peter. I try to mumble it out so it doesn't offend anyone.
I mean, we had Bellator, PFL Challenger Series, props.
Do they give
that's
lines
what
for
we got.
PFL challengers?
Just punted out the favorite in the main event. Yeah,
Ariel, you
yeah.
don't have a pick already?
I, mean,
I
if
do,
you're
I'm
feeling-
just
if you're
trying
feeling
to-
Taylor Johnson minus 310,
Wow.
maybe Impa Kasangane minus 575.
Oh, he's back. Wow, Mario Bautista minus 1100.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that it got pushed to the 4 figures, so you couldn't take him.
Wow, no
He
love
was-
for Guida
he was-
Canetti.
He was sitting at minus 950 for a minute.
All right, I'll tell you who I'm looking at right now. Leaning towards Ricardo Ramos, Said Nurmagomedov. And could you tell me what is Usman and Benson over around?
Oh, I don't know if they have
They
that.
don't have it yet? Is it Bellator?
You're saying over a round and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but I don't believe
They don't have that?
They've got the over-under set at 4.5, under minus 150,
Why?
over plus 120.
Why don't they have more?
I don't know. It just takes time, man.
Is it because of Bellator?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have the alt rounds for Bellator. I'm not going to lie.
It's whack. I'll go with Said Nurmagomedov.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? Big weekend for the Nurmagomedovs?
Could be.
Yeah.
They lost one.
What do you mean?
Abukar.
Yeah. I don't know. When in doubt, go with a Nurmagomedov.
I mean, that's not a bad plan, especially in the UFC. They're like something like 50-8 or something when there's a Medov in their name.
What do you
or
got?
a Magomed. I'm going to take a pick that I took just a couple weeks ago. It's just my favorite page on DraftKings Sportsbook. Alternate total rounds.
Nice.
Nikita Krylov, Ryan Spann, under 2.5, minus 400. 3-pick parlay, easy, clean, green. Took us no time, plus 145.
Love it. Plus 145 is solid.
That might be our fastest group of picks we've ever done.
All right.
Imagine if Ariel had come prepared.
Yeah. I like to do it in real time.
Yeah, I mean, you saved the day on the time there, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank. What about the rest of your picks, GC?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hop right in. What better way to start? What better way to get on track than with a flyweight under? I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving throughout 2023 for us. Tyson Nam, 3 wins in the UFC, all by first or second round knockout. Bruno Silva, 2 wins in the UFC, both by first or second round knockout. Yes, they haven't been knocked out. They don't really get finished. Nam, I think the last time he got knocked out was a decade ago. He's got the Hawaiian chin. But I think if this stays standing, someone is going to fall. Both these dudes do carry a lot of power for 125. I think if anyone's going to grapple, it's going to be Bruno Silva. But Nam has a 100% takedown defense. Granted, that's only stuffing 4 takedowns. But I'm going to go with it stays standing. Someone gets knocked out. It's a flyweight fight. There's magic in the air around it. Let's keep it rolling. This number has been steamed, but I took him early. Carl Williams. Why did I take him early?
What does steam mean?
Like the line got blown up. A lot of these lines this week did. This was one of them. Took Carl Williams. Why did I take him? Because he's fighting out of Atlanta.
Oh.
It's pretty much just
Homer
that
pick.
easy. Yeah, this is a homer pick. Also, he looked great on the Contender Series, dominated a Penn State wrestler. I mean, a beautiful level change right off the top, and then from there it was just racking up like 12 minutes of control time. Clean, 30-27 win, made it look easy. Dresky doesn't carry much power in his hands. I mean, he landed like 120 significant strikes on Martin Boudet, never really had him in any sort of trouble. I think Carl Williams is going to get this to the mat, and I think he's going to have the same successes that he had in his Contender Series fight. Moving on. Let's have some flyers. Let's have some sprinkles. Let's have some fun. Ryan Spann, Nikita Krylov. I'm going to take Ryan Spann by submission. So if you know the history of me and submission props, and you are already on Ryan Spann by submission, then you know this is a loser. I can't remember the last time we hit one. I want to say we're going on 8, 9, 10 submission picks without hitting one. Hopefully Ryan Spann, Superman, is the one to end it. But I think there's a real world where this happens. I mean, Ryan Spann, he makes his fights chaotic. They usually end in the first round. And he's got 12 wins by submission. He's got a nasty guillotine. 8 of those 12 are by guillotine. And Krylov maybe doesn't use the best fight IQ at times. If you go back and watch the Paul Craig fight, right off the bat, he is going for takedowns, which looked like a good move, and then it ended up being his undoing, and he gets finished in that fight via a triangle choke. I think this one's just going to get chaotic. I think it probably ends up on the mat, and I think there's a possibility for a guy that most of his wins are by submission, and Krylov, 5 of his last 9 losses are by first-round submission. 4 of his last 6 have come by getting submitted. I think there's a world where this happens, and at this big of a number, I'm willing to play it. And then I just mentioned Krylov, 5 of his last 9 are losing by first-round submission. Spann, his last 5 even in the first round. So I added on a little sprinkle. Ryan Spann by submission in round 1. Might as well sweeten the pot a little bit, give us something to cheer for. Not going heavy on this at all, but hopefully Spann can pull something out for us. I think there is.
Hopefully the fight happens.
Yes, that is the bigger thing. Catch weight 215. I feel like they'll both be good to go. Just be careful what places you get and take out from Nikita, and we'll be good to go. Moving on, Alexander Romanov, Alexander Volkov, the battle for the title of Alexander. I'm taking Romanov here, hoping that this is a buy low spot. I mean, in all his other fights, yes, it was against lower level of competition, but he's been minus 300, minus 500, minus 2,500 when he took on Chase Sherman. Like, he has always been a massive favorite. He was undefeated up until his last fight against Marcin Tybura. And if you go back and watch that, I don't know how all 3 judges didn't score to 10-8. Like, it was the most clear and obvious 10-8 in the history of MMA. Like, I mean, I think it was like 64-1 in significant strikes, and he racked up like 4.5 minutes of control time. Should have been a draw. Alas, he loses the fight, completely falls off a cliff, gas tank completely diminished in the high altitude in Utah. I'm going to bank on his gas tank not being that bad and him being able to get Alexander Volkov to the mat and being able to finish it from there. We've seen him get taken down. Yes, he does have a 70% takedown defense. He is solid there, but Tom Aspinall was able to do it. Curtis Blades was able to do it. Alexander Romanov, fairly good at wrestling acumen. I think he's going to be able to do it as well. And if he gets him flat on his back, I think he's going to be able to use that ground and pound or maybe throw up a submission. This could be me. We look back on it on Monday and it's just like, oh yeah, dude really just has no gas tank, and this was his toughest test, and Volkov was an easy pick. But I'm gonna guess that his gas tank is better than it looked at altitude, and he bounces back here. I mean, if he was able to get Tybura out of there in the first round, we're looking at Romanov like minus 300, minus 350. So I'm hoping this is a buy low spot. We'll see. Just in case, another little sprinkle, just in case if he does have that bad of a gas tank, Alexander Volkov round 3 plus 1,400, little tiny 0.1, maybe just a little buyback. I could see that happening if he does fall off the cliff, because Tybura, as he started to dominate as the fight went on, he's not much of a finisher. Volkov is. I think he can get it done there. To the main event. First things first, right off rip, from the moment this fight was made, I was like, I like the over in this one. If they give it to us at a playable price, like it to go to a decision. I mean, if you just look at these two guys' career, Merab, all but one fight, excuse me, all but 2 fights has gone to a decision. Petr Yan, I mean, if you don't count the DQ, I want to say it's his last 10 or something has gone over the 1.5. So they typically go longer in these fights. These guys don't get finished. Petr Yan has never been finished. The one time Merab got finished was Ricky Simon literally taking the life out of him. So I think the way these guys match up, this one goes longer. And then I somehow got around to it. I don't know how. He's made me pay a million times. Petr Yan at a big chalky price, but the way I just see it playing out, I think the 5 rounds benefits him. I think Merab's style of fighting doesn't match up well against Petr Yan. He's got a 90% takedown defense over his career. If you go back and watch the last fight against Jose Aldo, yes, he won the fight, but he went 0 for 16 on takedowns. Jose Aldo, very similar takedown defense to Petr Yan, 91%. I don't think he'll be able to find the same success, be able to just hug Petr Yan up against the cage for 25 minutes and get the win. I think Petr Yan will be able to find his successes. Plus, I think this is just a must-win. You can't lose 4 of 5, and he's going up against Aljo's teammate. This just seems like a must-win for Petr Yan. So I put a little bit on him. I just can't quit backing Petr Yan. So there it is. A couple parlays, Mario Bautista, as you mentioned, and Ricardo Ramos, 2 guys you mentioned. And then a prop parlay, last thing here. Bautista Canetti doesn't go to a decision. Krylov span under 2.5, and Jan Dvalishvili over 1.5. Those are the plays.
Well,
UFC Las Vegas.
Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, any interest in Bellator?
Nope.
I was just thinking.
What are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking. I've looked it over.
The line on Benson feels
It's huge. It's huge.
ridiculous.
But is he
no?
going to win?
For-
But is he going to win?
I definitely wouldn't favor him, but I definitely think it's plus EV. No, like Benson is so good, man.
It is crazy. You're talking about the minus 1,600 for Usman and the plus 850. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, there's.
I think it's even higher than that, right?
Wow,
You can get a big time line on Benson Henderson.
that's a little disrespectful.
And there's a world where this fight goes to a decision.
I just feel like this is the type of fight where Benson can just make it ugly and all of a sudden get a weird split. Like it, I don't know. I
Plus
see some
1,100.
value, but I don't look. Don't get me wrong. I'm out of the parlay pals for a reason. Like don't take my advice.
I mean,
But,
I could be out of the parlay pals in no time, man.
But yeah, it just feels weird. Don't get me wrong. I think Usman's fantastic. Like truly,
Michael Page
Like-
only a minus 120.
it's a weird
Feels
line. I
dicey.
just feel like Benson's better than that, in my opinion.
I agree. And also, Benson has had some success back in the day at the SAP Center. Remember that close fight against Gilbert Melendez?
No,
UFC on Fox.
the one that cost me Rick's picks many moons ago.
Was
when
it?
Gilbert clearly won?
Was it that
I
one?
had him as
Gilbert
a dog
did.
and
Yeah.
picked him to beat Benson.
Yeah.
Here's Benson.
Ultimately,
First goals.
odds aside, Benson wins that fight, yes? Excuse me, Usman wins that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. My lean is 50-50 fight. The lean is Usman, but like I don't know. It feels like there's some value there on Benson.
I'll send my
I mean, you don't have to pay much for it. Plus 1,100.
Yeah,
right
you
now
can
on
you can
DraftKings.
just take a flyer. He wins these ones. He wins these ones just like weird splits.
So
How he
not a
does.
single play on Bellator.
Nah, not right now.
Nothing. You're not feeling it?
Nah. Nothing.
Write down on
nothing.
Bellator.
I don't know, man. These take time. These take time
Okay,
to
wow.
get around to a pick.
Okay. All right. Wow. Is this a new approach? I feel like.
Nah. I mean, I had to go to the Devils game last
All right.
night.
Things were happening. Things were happening. All right. What about No Bets Barred?
Oh yeah, it's out. Wherever you get your podcasts.
And-
It's a great episode, I'm not gonna lie.
Any special guests?
No special guests. But
Is there anyone out there in the
James
betting world
Cope,
that focuses on Bellator betting?
nah, like that just does Bellator?
Yeah.
No.
Now, I feel like that'd be a tough grind with especially how many like big favorites they tend to feature on some of those cards. That'd be
you have quite a few fighters this weekend that are like 0-0 matches.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The main card.
might be tough.
I will say it's just wild to hear you talk about Petr Yan like that. Like he's staring at a losing streak and all this stuff. It's like,
If you go back and look at his record,
Well-
he has the DQ and 3 split decision
I
losses.
know.
Like he's like a few good bounces away from being on.
I feel like yesterday we were talking about him
That's
being the
rough.
pound for pound best fighter in the
So
world, like
crazy.
being in the conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Not
now-
me.
No, I
Not
feel like,
me.
no.
Not me.
Wow.
I feel like this is a must win
Picked
for him, dude.
Aljo. Not me.
Where does he
Not
go
me.
from here if he loses?
I mean, it's still Marab, but yeah, it's tough.
but that's still 4 of
Every-
the last 5.
Got to build yourself back
Every
up.
single one of those guys is very, very good. Like these are not career changing and defining losses. It'd be tough, but I don't know. You finally just go down in competition. It'd be time. Like
Right.
just not a top 5 guy. That's all.